If you heard the news last week, Tomonobu Itagaki had passed away. People close to him said that apparently he had some illness that he kind of knew. On his Facebook page, he kind of wrote something about that. Well, my time is coming up. I mean, it is what it is. It is unfortunate. For people who don't know who this guy is, he used to work for Tecmo. And believe it or not, one of his games actually saved Tecmo. So I seen a lot of people talk about the guy, but they never mention about the significant about Dead or Alive. Yes, the game to some extent is super fan service, probably a different direction, trying to do something different than other 3D fighting games such as Tekken and Virtual Fighter. Yes, a controversy with Maximilian to some extent. He has respect for Itagaki, but he is not a fan of Dead or Alive. And I mean, to some extent about that one is you get popular, this is what's going to happen. His opinion, you don't have to agree with it. And to some extent, as long that Max not being an asshole, there shouldn't be a problem about it. His opinion is opinion. So anyway, like I said, yes, Itagaki did pass away. It is unfortunate. He made a lot of influence, significant impact to the video game business. And like I said, the game that he created that actually saved Tecmo in the early 90s, for people who don't know. At one point, Tecmo actually was going to go for bankruptcy. He created a game that people were going to appeal, say, let me do something about it, and it is Dead or Alive. So the name itself, to some extent, believe it or not, it's not just a random name that Itagaki just picked. There was a big meaning behind it. Dead or Alive meaning, if this game fails, Tecmo's done. Same goes with Square Enix with Final Fantasy. People don't understand to some extent that the name Final Fantasy mean is their final game. If that first Final Fantasy game for the Famicom NES failed, Squaresoft would be done. That's it. They wouldn't be able to purchase NX. So same goes with Tecmo. If it wasn't Dead or Alive, they wouldn't be bought by Koei. That's why Tecmo Koei, to some extent. I mean, there's a big significance about Dead or Alive. It's not just because the game is a fan server that supposedly targeted for gooners, but that to some extent, Tomonobu Itagaki passed away last week. And like I said, people close to him said that it was illness. I want to add more about the story with Itagaki. So like I said, he made a big impact to the video game industry. He created Dead or Alive, and he also created the reboot of the Ninja Gaiden, the first two games, if you didn't know. Backstory to some extent is that at some point, he was let go at Tecmo due to sexual harassment, from what I understand. He created his own studio, Valhalla. He created one of his first games by his company called Devil's Third. Unfortunately, I think they teamed up with THQ, and at the time, THQ wasn't doing good. They gave all the rights to Itagaki, and then to a point that Nintendo swooped the game. And of course, it's a Wii U exclusive, but then unfortunately, the game itself, it wasn't really good. I mean, per se, it is what it is. But yeah, that's a bit of the story about him. And then, of course, with the Dead or Alive, besides saving Tecmo, there were a bit of a controversy because to some extent, Itagaki's philosophy of video game is, I only develop the game on a powerful platform. It is what it is. The Xbox versus the PS2. Dead or Alive 3 was exclusive for the Xbox for two reasons. I heard one is that Microsoft did chip in to make the game. But the second reason is that Itagaki's philosophy is, I only make games for the powerful hardware, and he saw the Xbox was more powerful. And then when it comes to Dead or Alive 4, the reason why it's a 360 exclusive, I think same deal again. Microsoft flipped the bill to some extent. Plus, he kind of saw the PS3. It's like, yeah, the game just wasn't running good. So he just wanted to focus on Xbox 360 along with Beach Volleyball 2. It is what it is, because the first one also was only the Xbox. That's why. And then when he left Tecmo and somebody new took over the Dead or Alive series, then it became multi-platform with Dead or Alive 5 and 6. And of course, if you kind of look at the comparison from parts 3 and 4 to 5 and 6, yes, it's kind of night and day to some extent with the quality, but I mean, the mechanic is still there. But again, who knows? Because as of right now, the report is that Dead or Alive franchise may be in hiatus because 6 didn't do good to some extent from what I heard, but that's a different story there. So that's a bit more about Itagaki, my thoughts about it. A moment of silence for Tomonobu Itagaki.